What's up everyone, I'm Calamontoast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing an 11 game win streak that I was able to get in the Element Cup remix featuring the rarest Pokemon in this meta, Hisuian Growtlithe. Now this Pokemon is currently unobtainable. It was only accessible during the Hisuian Discoveries event back in July, and even then it wasn't available in the wild. You can only obtain it through hatching 7km eggs, and if you did hatch it from an egg, it would typically be way too high in CP to fit into the Little Cup. So the only way to obtain a Hisuian Growlithe low enough to fit into the Little Cup would have been to have access to a very low account. I'm talking well below level 20, hatch an egg on that account and get a Growlithe and then trade it over to your account. And very conveniently for me, my mum at the time was doing a ton of walking because she was raising money for charity, so I said to her I would donate to the charity if she downloaded Pokemon Go, got to level 5 so that she could activate the adventure sync and then just open my gift every day and then hatch a ton of 7km eggs. And in that time she was able to obtain a very low CP Growlithe, which she then traded over to me. I'm going to assume that the majority of you don't have access to this Pokemon, so if you're looking to climb and you want to use this team, you can replace it with Vulpix or Cantonian Growlithe or even Tepig, just another fire type that's pretty spammy. And yeah, the rock typing does help Growlithe out in some matchups, but it also does hinder it, so just do bear that in mind. It's not like some crazy OP Pokemon, but I was just fortunate to go on an 11 game win streak with this Pokemon. And with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. A lot of people aren't fans of ending the season with the Master League and the Element Cup Remix and Catch Cup, so if you were able to choose from any of the previous scene themed cups that we've had in the Go Battle League to end this season, which would you prefer to see and why? Let me know in the comment section below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle here, we're going to lead Bulbasaur into Seal, so a pretty good lead for us. My opponent's going to swap into a Dupider here, so we're going to swap with our Slugma here, and you see we are running Rock Throw on the Slugma. We can tank a Bubble Beam quite comfortably actually as well, and I'm hoping to farm them down. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. I think this is quite a high ranked Dupider, because normally I am able to Rock Throw farm them down there, but I'm able to take them out. They don't shield the Dupider, which is perfect. They're going to come back in with Seal. I'm going to go straight for the Seed Bomb here, getting there before they can throw an Icy Wind, and we do get a shield from my opponent, which is perfect. I'm now going to shield. I'm expecting an Icy Wind and then a swap, but they go for an Aqua Tail bait. I'm going to come in with my Hisuian Growlithe here, and we're in a pretty good position. We can tank any move, which is what I like about the Hisuian Growlithe. We can comfortably tank those body slams because of our part rock typing. I'm going to go for the charge move here, and at this point I'm recognizing that there's really no reason for me to shield here. All that would do is give the Seal a potential to farm me down eventually and then possibly go for an Icy Wind, but like this I can come in with my Bulbasaur, go for a Sludge Bomb to take out the Vulpix and go for a Seed Bomb here up against this Seal, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the second battle here, and we're going to lead into a Lotad, so another pretty good lead for us here. They are running Razor Leaf, which is double resisted by the grass and poison typing. I'm going to bait them with a Seed Bomb here. We do get a shield from this Lotad. Eventually they swap into a Seal, so they are super weak to Bulbasaur it seems, because this is not very good for them either. We go for a Seed Bomb here, and I'm able to get to another Seed Bomb before they can even get to an Aqua Tail, and Seed Bomb takes out the Seal. I'm in a very good position right here. They're going to come back in with the Lotad, so now I'm going to come in with my Slugma here, and I'm actually going to no shield. It's just going to be a Bubble Beam that actually does a significant amount of damage, and they're able to farm me down with Razor Leaf, which is not ideal. We are now going to come in with our Hisuian Growlithe. They come in with a Dupider here, and now we're in a pretty good position here because I can safely shield the Bubble Beam. Overfarm or not, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to go straight for the Rock Slide here, and this Lotad is not going to be able to get to 2 more Bubble Beams, so I will safely shield the Bubble Beam once again, and I am able to Ember, farm down the Lotad and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game here, we're going to lead Bulbasaur into a Rowlet, so a decent lead here, but I'm going to save swap immediately, and they also do the same. They swap into their Vulpix. I'm not going to be able to tank a body slam from the Shadow Vulpix, so I do shield it up, and my opponent is going to wait out their switch clock and then come back in with their own Slugma here. So I'm going to go for the Rock Slide. This should be getting a shield from my opponent, and our Rock Throws actually put them into the yellow, which is great. I'm now going to come in with the Bulbasaur because we can tank the rock damage a little bit more comfortably than the Growlithe. I'm going to go for the extra here and then just try and commit to fast move farming them down. They're going to swap back into the Rowlet, so I'm actually just going to go for the Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb takes out the Rowlet. They were expecting a bait there. I can come in with my Growlithe and Ember, farm down the Slugma and take that game. So we did go 4-on-1 in that first set. The winning run did start from the third battle there. So into the next set here, and another save swap into a Shadow Vulpix. I'm going to shield this up and then go for a full Rock Throw farm down. I do have a charge move loaded here, and Slugma is absolutely deadly in this cup. There are so many Pokemon weak to the rock typing, and they come back in with the Dewpider here. We're actually going to boost our attack here, and my opponent has to go for a charge move there, otherwise they would be extremely low. And now at this point, I think I'm going to come in with the Bulbasaur here, and my opponent comes in with a Tepig. We can come in with the Hisuian Growtlithe, and we can comfortably tank a move here. It's just going to be a body slam. We do tank that fine. I'm going for the Rock Slide. Does my opponent even know what moves we have? Obviously not, because they no shield the Rock Slide here, and it looks like I'm going to be able to get to another move or nearly put them into range where I can farm down with my Bulbasaur so my opponent can seize the match. Into next game, we have a Bulbasaur mirror lead. They're going to swap into their Squirtle to counter my Slugma. I did have the charge move loaded, but I didn't expect him to throw straight away. Aqua Tail takes me out. I'm not in the best position here, but I will be able to fully farm them down with my Bulbasaur, and this is just going to be another Aqua Tail, so I can let it go through. They go for the Aqua Tail there. It does about 40% of my health. I'm able to fully farm them down. They come in with a Charmander, so my opponent is running a triple Kanto starters team, and I'm going to come in with my Growlithe, and I'm core breaking them a little bit there. I'm able to fully farm down the Bulbasaur before they can throw a charge move, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Even if they'd have thrown, they wouldn't have been able to win there. So I realised that they probably just chose not to throw and then concede the match. Into next game here, we lead into a Seal. My opponent swaps into a Tackle Shroomish, and I was kind of a little bit confused about what to do here. I figured I could get a shield early and then swap into my Growlithe, and here Shroomish is actually a bit bulkier than I was expecting. Considering that Breloom is a very, very squishy Pokemon, they actually tank these Embers very nicely. They get to another charge move. I wasn't counting the tackle fast move, so it is just a Seed Bomb bait, and I don't think that would have taken us out. But here, I'm able to get to a Rock Slide. I'm able to get to a second Rock Slide. The first one did huge damage, so the second one will warrant a shield from the Seal, and I should be able to come in with my Bulbasaur and fully farm them down, but actually, they've got a charge move loaded. I'm expecting a blind Icy Wind, so I come in with the Slugma, and it is an Icy Wind, so we resist that from the fire typing. They come in with a Bulbasaur. I'm going to catch the Seed Bomb on my own Bulbasaur. This is double resisted due to the grass and poison typing, and now I'm going to be forcing my opponent to throw their energy. This is just going to be another Seed Bomb. Can we hang on? Yes, we can. We survive with 1 HP. This is a rank 1 Shadow Bulbasaur, by the way, so those IVs coming in clutch. We go for the Sludge Bomb, and we take out the Bulbasaur. So we're already 3 wins into this set, 3 wins from the previous set in this streak, so a 6-0 streak so far. My opponent's going to come in with a Seal to counter swap my Slugma, but they stay in for too long, so I'm able to get off a Rock Slide here, get the Seal very low. They're now into range where I will be able to comfortably farm them down with the Bulbasaur before they get to another charge move, which is perfect. So I'm going to come in with the Bulbasaur here. I'm able to farm them down. And now I'm just going to go for a Seed Bomb, I think. Actually, I'm going to go for the extra fast move. Go for a shield here on this Weather Ball. Try to catch the next Weather Ball, but I think I might have swapped slightly too soon there. So I'm going to let this Body Slam go through. My opponent is actually going to farm up a ton of energy and then swap into the Dewpider here. We're going to go for the Rock Slide. This should be getting the final shield, or not the final shield, the first shield from my opponent. And unfortunately, they're able to Bug Bite farm down a Fire type, which is kind of ridiculous. We're going to go for a Seed Bomb here. We get the shield from my opponent. I'm not going to call the bait here, but they do just go for a bubble beam, which is not ideal. We're going to overfarm here. We need the back-to-back moves. They get to a charge move, but it's just another bubble beam, meaning we hang on. We can go for the seed bomb here, and even though they've double debuffed my attack, I'm able to take out the Dupider here, and with a resisted seed bomb double debuffed, I'm still able to take out the Vulpix there and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into a Chikorita. So technically a good lead, but honestly, Body Slam does about 60 to 70% of Bulbasaur's health. It's kind of ridiculous. So they're going to go for the Body Slam here, and that does huge damage. I'm going for the Sludge Bomb to kill, and my opponent does shield up the Sludge Bomb. So here, I'm going to wait until they throw another move, shield up, and then save swap into my Slugma, because I'm recognizing that I kind of need to preserve the health of my Bulbasaur in case they do have a very strong answer to fire types in the back. Doesn't look like they do, because they go for a charge move, but actually they had a very good response to the Slugma here in the form of Seal. I'm going to go for a Rock Slide, and it actually gets the final shield from my opponent, so I can now come in with my Bulbasaur and get to a Seed Bomb before they get to an Aqua Tail here, and Seed Bomb is going to do huge damage to this Seal. My opponent recognizing that actually they'd prefer to get farm on their Vulpix, so they choose to let their Seal go down, but that farm isn't going to help them here because I've got a great wall to Vulpix, especially upper shield. They go for the Body Slam, they try to catch, I choose not to throw straight away. Very nice attempt by my opponent, but I held on to my energy and I'm able to go 5-0 there, so GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, a very good lead once again, so I'm kind of getting very fortunate with the leads. My opponent swaps into a Razor Leaf Pumpkin Boo, and I'm going to go for a Flame Charge here, and I do get a shield from my opponent. I boost my attack and we're able to simultaneously KO, so that is great. And now I just have to try and correctly guess what they're coming in with. Unfortunately, it's a Shadow Vulpix, but because they're running Quick Attack here, they're not doing that much fast pressure with the Quick Attack, so I'm actually going to be able to get to 2 Seed Bombs here, and from a Shadow up against another Shadow, the Seed Bombs with the Vine Whip damage is going to be enough to take out this Vulpix. And now I just have the Bulbasaur with enough health to take out this Wooper, and yeah, the Hisuian Growtlithe didn't even do anything in this match, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to lead Bulbasaur into Seal, so another great lead. My opponent's going to swap into Vulpix, so once again we can just hard counter my opponent with the Slugma, and we can tank the Body Slam here from the regular Vulpix, so I do, and I come out with a Rock Slide loaded, which is perfect. They're going to come back in with the Seal. We go for the Rock Slide. It goes unshielded, and they're nearly into the yellow. One Vine Whip puts them into the yellow. I'm going to overfarm just very slightly, go for the Seed Bomb here. Seed Bomb actually gets a shield from this Seal, so I'm now going to shield as well, expecting they're probably going to swap out here, and they do. They swap into a Dupider here. We're going to go for a Rock Slide, but not before they get to a Bubble Beam, and honestly, Bubble Beam does about 70 to 80% of our health because it is double super effective damage, so that is not great. We're going to go for a Rock Slide here, but they will outpace us to another charge move, but that is still absolutely fine. We have enough health on our Bulbasaur to get to a Seed Bomb here, and the Seal is so low that we will be able to just Vine Whip, farm them down from about 3 more Vine Whips, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead Bulbasaur into another Dupider here. So I'm going to swap into the Slugma here. My opponent's actually staying in initially. They're going to go for a Bubble Beam, but they throw at an awkward time, so I get a full Rock Throw through. I'm going to let it go through, go for a Rock Slide here, and this should be taking out the Dupider or getting a shield from my opponent, and I'm happy with that. We're now going to come back in with the Bulbasaur. The worst thing that they could throw is going to be a Bubble Beam, because I don't think they have enough energy for a Mirror Coat, so they go for the Bubble Beam there. It is resisted, of course. They're going to come in with a Litwick, so I'm going to swap into my Hisuian Growlithe. My opponent stays in for a while, building up energy, just giving me a nice energy advantage going into this Vulpix in the back. We get a shield from my opponent. They are running the Shadow Vulpix, so I do kind of have to shield these Body Slams from this range, but I'm able to get to the second Rock Slide here on the CMP tie with the Vulpix, and that takes out the Vulpix, and now they're going to go for a charge move here. All I need to do is put them into range where a Seed Bomb definitely KOs, so I'm going to overfarm a ton, swap into the Bulbasaur. We do tank 1 Ember as we come in, and Seed Seed Bomb from this range easily enough to take out the Litwick, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. That was the 11th win. So this is now going to be the loss here. We lead into a Barboach, perfect lead, but they safe swap into a Water Gun Wingull. And I just was not expecting that. I've just been so used to the Vulpix coming in every time. So I swap into the Slugma and they barely outpace me for damage with the water guns compared to the rock throws. And now they've got the perfect alignment here. We go for a Sludge Bomb up against this Vulpix. They do shield it up, and yeah, there's just nothing we can do here. I'm actually going to let the charge move go through, and they're actually running Flame Charge, which is quite interesting. And yeah, I would need to get to 2 Rock Slides, but even then our Rock Slides probably not going to be able to take out the Wooper, so I do let the next move go through and I do lose that game. So GG's to my opponent there, ending the win streak. And then into the next game we actually lead. We're going up against Jonkus, and I didn't realize this at the time, but I was featured in his video, which is how I came to the realization that we battled. And then here my opponent's going to swap into the Vulpix. We're able to farm them down, no shield, and go for a Rock Slide here, but we did actually face this team already, and what I should have done is shielded in that matchup, because they're going to come back in with Slugma, and we could have got the Slugma into the yellow health already if we did shield our Slugma. But now we're going to go for the back-to-back Seed Bombs. First one gets shielded, the second one Jonkus is able to catch it onto his Rowlet. We go for the full charge there, and if we'd have undercharged just a little bit, we would have been able to get one more Ember through and we would have got to the Rock Slide. But as things stand, they're able to fully Rock Throw farm me down, and I do get destroyed by Jonkus' Slugma there. So GG's to him. Into the next game here, just a couple of bonus battles. We're going to swap into our Slugma. My opponent is going to respond with an Ice Shard Seal. So Ice Shard Seal is a little bit of a core breaker to my team because it can 2-shield its way through my Bulbasaur, and as well the Aquatails are super effective damage, but they go for an Icy Wind bait for whatever reason, I don't know. At this point I'm happy to let the Slugma go down, and they're not going to be able to get to another Aquatail up against my Bulbasaur, so I should really only have to tank maybe 1 or 2 or 3, no, just 2 Ice Shards there from the Seal. They're going to come back in with their Vulpix. We can go for a Seed Bomb, and even though it's resisted, they do kind of have to shield there. My opponent stays in for too long. They swap into a Dupider here, and Growlithe is absolutely going to feast. We go for the Rock Slide. We one-shot the Dupider here, and we're going to be able to fully Ember farm down this Vulpix and take them out here. So they go for a Body Slam. They need 2 more charge moves. They're not able to get to them there, and I'm able to take that game. Now into the final battle of this video, we lead into a Dupider here. I'm going to safe swap into the Slugma, and my opponent's going to respond with a Wooper, so that is the worst Pokemon that the Growlithe can see in the back, so it's really good that we're baiting it out here. And as well, they do let me get to the charge move. I don't think it really matters that much because all it does is prevent my Bulbasaur from getting as much farm, so that actually might be smart from my opponent there. So we're going to come in with the Bulbasaur here, and I'm actually going to shield in this matchup. A Mud Bomb will do huge damage to a Shadow Bulbasaur, so I do shield it up, and they're going to come back in with the Vulpix most likely. No, it was a Dupider. I completely forgot what they had in the lead there. So we're going to go for a Seed Bomb. We get a shield from my opponent, and I'm expecting them to just go for a Bubble Beam here, so I can let this go through. And now I'm going to go for a Seed Bomb here, and then probably swap into my Growlithe. And my opponent's going to respond with a Leap here. And I am going to shield this up. It could be an Ancient Power. It is an Ancient Power, so I know that I can farm up to the back-to-back charge moves nearly. I have to go for the CMP tie here. You will see I'm now running Crunch. I wasn't initially just because I didn't have any charge TMs, so I had to go with what I got initially. But we go for a Rock Slide here. We take out the Dupider and we take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. So that's going to be it for today's video. I will admit I was quite fortunate to win, I think, the majority of the leads on my winning streak, so that's just how Go Battle League is. Sometimes you get quite fortunate and luck is on your side. Sometimes it feels like luck isn't on your side, and any regular viewers will know that. Recently I've uploaded a few videos where I've just been hard countered game after game after game, so I do think it evens out over the course of the season, but we were still able to fight back from a few lost leads, which is also really nice. As for the performance of the Hisuian Growtlithe, I think it performed pretty much as well as I was expecting. expecting it to. It's not rated that highly on PvPoke, and I think the biggest thing holding it back is that it doesn't have access to a 35 energy charge move like a lot of the other fire types do in this meta. So like Vulpix, Growlithe, and well, like Cantonian Growlithe and Tepig, they've all got body slam, which as well as being nice coverage, neutral coverage to hit those water types, they're just really fast to get to the body slam because it is a 35 energy charge move. But Growlithe's lowest energy moves are Rock Slide and Crunch, both at 45 energy, so it does get significantly outpaced by a lot of the fire types in this meta, and that does really prevent it from absolutely dominating up against those other fire types. But I think that's actually good because this Pokemon is extremely hard to obtain, so it's quite good that it's not super dominant. And the other Pokemon that is very hard to obtain, Salandit, actually was banned, so yeah, I think if Growlithe was any stronger, then it probably would also get the same treatment. And then another thing, if it had a rock type fast move like the Slugma does, because Slugma absolutely popped off in this video, both for me and as well on Jonkus's team when he did absolutely destroy me. Slugma with the rock throw damage, just so powerful, and if Growlithe also had rock throw or maybe smackdown or even rollout, then it would just perform so much better. But yeah, as things stand, Growlithe not too meta defining by any means, and I think that's fair because it's a very difficult Pokemon to obtain. But anyways, if you did enjoy today's video, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future with super unique Pokemon, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that way you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we got Windy City Assassin, who says, I just caught a 100% Shadow Magikarp yesterday, and I also have a 100% Shadow Best Buddy Machamp. So those are two very strong meta Shadow Pokemon to have for the Master League or just for raids, so very cool indeed. Next we got Kevin Charlou, who says, I have 100% IV Shadow Tyranitar, Machamp, Venonat and Zubat, as well as several other 98%, so that is quite a collection. Tyranitar and Machamp once again very strong meta Pokemon for raids and for the Master League, and then Venonat and Zubat as a Golbat, you could probably power them up for the Ultra League as some very interesting spice picks, so once again some very interesting Hundo Shadow Pokemon there. Next we got Xavier, who says, the 4-star Shadow Girafarig I caught yesterday. How convenient. And for those of you that didn't see my last video, it was featuring a Hundo Shadow Girafarig. And finally we've got Teddy Harvey, who says, my best Shadow Pokemon is a 100% Shadow Mewtwo I got the first time it was available, and that is probably the best Shadow Pokemon you can have, a 100% Shadow Mewtwo, so very cool for that trainer. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.